Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the KF Podcast, Hellboy movie review, spoiler edition. I want to say thank you for listening. If you just found us on the interwebs or your favorite podcast application, also check us out at kfpodcast.com and then at DKF Podcast and all your other social media needs. So we got Donald.
Yo.
Justin.
Hey.
Lance.
Yo.
And Rob.
Hello.
And we just saw Hellboy.
Hellboy.
Probably the best comic book movie you're going to see this year.
Forget Endgame. There was a total of 5 people in the theater. Me, you... Well, no, actually there were 6. Yeah, the 4 of us and
That's
2 people in
wrong.
front.
There were 7. There's 4 of us, 2 women in front of us, and a guy on the right.
Oh, there's another guy. I missed
Yeah.
him. Snuck in.
Yeah.
He walked literally right in front of us.
Yeah, did he?
Oh, that's right, because during the movie.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got that parking spot.
I think there might have been about that many people in my screening as well.
Not too big of a screening
Yeah.
for Hellboy. More last week, not a lot this week.
Yeah. So let's talk about our non-spoiler thoughts. Justin, let's start with you.
Hyper violent, lots of language.
Spanish, German.
They kind of interwove some different mythologies together that didn't make a lot of sense to me. I've never read the Hellboy comics, so I don't know if these are standard characters from the comic or not. But it was all right. It was a lot of violence and a lot of action and a lot of weird
loud music.
practical effects. A lot of loud music.
Very loud music during fight scenes.
So we do have someone here that's read Hellboy, but we're going to save his opinion to last.
Okay.
So let's go to Lance. What did you think?
I agree with Justin. Hyper violent, but
Hyper violent.
it was actually better than I thought it was going to be. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
Don?
I thought it was okay. I mean, I thought David Harbour did a good job pulling off Hellboy. I mean, he was okay. I didn't really care for the chick in it. I would have preferred they do like Liz. I thought that her whole like talking to dead people thing was kind of strange, and it was very graphic, very violent. A lot of blood, a lot of disgusting stuff, like with the witches and stuff. I thought the villain was very weak. I like Mila Jovovich, but she was kind of like pointless in this. It was like a lot of hype build up for her, and then like kind of just ended quick. And I don't know, it was okay. Too loud. The fight scenes are disorienting. You couldn't tell what was going on. There was so much loudness and stuff going on. He gets beat up a lot. There's not really like a lot of cool action scenes with him in general. And I don't know, very predictive ending. Kind of nothing too exciting in it. It was just okay.
Yeah, it was the ending. The story was lackluster. A lot of hiccups cinematography wise and musically were off-putting. But yeah.
A lot of things that didn't really make sense. You're like,
Yeah.
why didn't they just do this? Or why are they doing that?
It seemed very long too watching it. Like I got annoyed in parts, just like
Yeah.
they had to go to another place and talk to another person
Yeah.
about another stupid thing to tie it all together.
lot of
It was very questy.
Yeah.
A lot of cliche stuff, too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to go. This big shocker, this guy's still alive, and you got to go see him.
Yeah.
And,
A lot of dead people in boxes.
yeah.
But all right, Rob is the resident Hellboy expert.
Yes, he is.
I didn't care for this movie at all. I didn't go in with expectations of liking it, and those were
You're just saying that
met.
because you don't like Hellboy movies. You're just being.
No, I didn't mind the Ron Perlman Hellboy. I really didn't. I mean, even this would rank third in the movies, even behind the
So this
Golden
isn't
Army.
even as good as Golden Army, which Golden Army is pretty
Yeah,
bad.
the more I thought about it, no, at least I was visually entertained by Golden Army because of the Pan's Labyrinth, dude. I mean, there was
Yeah.
some stuff that was visually stunning in that movie.
and a lot of weird shit.
Right. And you had Johann the Spirit in that movie, you know,
Yeah.
and that so valid characters. There were some valid characters in here. This movie was produced, or at least in part, by Mike Mignola, and you can tell that because they wanted to get a lot of his stories in here in random places. Like you got flashbacks to origin stories at 3 or 4 points during the movie,
Yeah.
which I found strange. You do them or don't do them.
I wish they would have just done them right in the beginning.
Right.
Flashback the whole thing and showed it like they did the original instead of...
It wasn't. I mean, it was close to time hopping in a comic book where it happens midway through an arc or something like that. But you know, there were he kept a lot of parts in there from the source material. But the liberties they took with the source material just to get them in, I think, made the movie falter quite a bit.
Okay.
You know, the Hellboy comics they were violent, they were grotesque, but the art never let it go that far because it wasn't that kind of art. You kind of make fun of the art.
I feel like this was extreme, over-the-top grotesque.
I think that it was
splitting human beings in half and just blood
multiple times, you know, and multiple different angles.
Yeah, and up the crotch, down the crotch, through the head.
They wanted,
and you're like, oh my god.
They wanted that R rating on there.
Christ.
They really wanted the R rating on there. They didn't have to.
And there was only like
far.
a couple Fs.
Right.
It was just.
It's a couple F's and Jeffs.
And like Ken, you had some of the problems with the cinematography. They got all the viz sections and the maiming correct.
All right, so we're just gonna get right into spoiling the crap out of it. So, Justin,
Spoilers.
thank you, sir.
Now you're hearing spoilers, so tune away if you don't want to.
So the fight scene with the giants didn't seem finished. Like the color of the giants would go in and out. I feel like per frame. Sometimes
I feel like it seemed very easy to beat 3 big giants.
Yeah.
Too. They were just running. He's just punching them and then jabbing a thing in their eye and a tree through the head and
I mean, for being that tall, they were very gangly and
very
uncoordinated.
dumb.
I think they mentioned at one point that these things, like, they came back from the dead, so they were like almost zombie giants.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking at one point they'd been talking about the giants, and then the guy got his head ripped off, and I'm like, they don't have enough budget in this movie to show actual giants. And then they ended up showing them, but it was like they were talking about it, and I'm like, they're not actually going to show them. They didn't have money to do that.
Yeah, but no, they showed them and they were stupid looking.
I feel like the giant scene and the scene where the were-leper and the chick and the guys in the necros or the nuclear waste suits, I feel like those were test images put out from the special effects department. They're like, all right, we got to write a movie around this. And then they're like, okay, we can do this other stuff and make a thing.
The scene when the last scene when they're in the thing fighting all
The
that.
Atlantis Society.
And the cheetah's just running around the room and can't really tell what he's doing.
Yeah. I feel like those were the only ones that were like, well, that and all the disgusting parts were done well, but that's where I feel like they're like, well, we just have the scene where we have a CGI.
I feel like the cheetah guy had Daniel Day Kim, who I like him as an actor a lot. He's from Lost. I feel like he had no character development at all. He's just like this. I hate monsters. You're like, well, you know, because he is one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, as soon as he puts antifreeze in his leg, you know he's not doing
it's
it.
Like, well, that cliche again. I am a monster, so I hate them.
Is he British, or is that an accent? I don't know.
No, that was bad voice acting.
Bad voice
acting. Then went away.
And then he was just like, oh, you get to the big climactic scene where you realize he's a were-leper, and then they had to do his flashback, which was so pointless and long.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to see that. Yeah, he's the only one that survived.
Okay, and it's like, oh yeah, cool, he's a were-leper, and yay, like he just hated Hellboy. And he has to change his heart at the end. Here's this bullet I was gonna kill you with, but we didn't need to
see Alice's backstory either.
Her backstory was long too,
and it didn't explain how she got her seeing powers.
No, it basically just said, "Oh, when the fairies took me, I started having powers."
Yeah.
What was so confusing about it? A lot of things too were hard to hear what people were saying.
Yeah.
And then that scene, he's just like, you better come back with that baby or I'm going to get you. And then he's like, and I just waited there. And then they brought the baby back.
Yeah.
Like, they were so afraid of him. Like, how was he going to come get them? He didn't even know where they were.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like, that was really weird. Like, is she in the comics at all, that girl?
I don't ever recall that character being in the comics.
Her resurrection powers, where she would, out of her mouth, a dead body would come, was the weirdest thing I've seen too.
It was very unsettling.
It was unsettling and odd.
The power for her punching the spirit out of things,
that
was cooler.
Yeah.
than
she seemed to get a lot of powers as it went
along. So, and she kind of she blamed it on, since I've been hanging out with the BPRD, I've been developing more powers. It's like, all right, that's what we're gonna get. That's where you got.
I feel like when they introduced her in the movie, like we were all supposed to know who it is.
Right.
'Cause they were like, "Oh, it's her."
Like when
And I was
Lobster
like,
Johnson shows up, like I know who Lobster Johnson is because I've seen him on comic books. Like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet! Like that's who you get the actual.
Yeah.
when they did her, he was like, "Oh, it's you," and I was like, "I don't know who this is."
I think they stayed away from Abe and Liz because of the previous movies.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I think that was just the wrong way to go because they're better characters.
They are better characters. His relationship with Liz and her fire powers and
Yep.
all that is
Yep.
much cooler. And his friendship with Abe. Cheetah Guy and him have really not...
Well, so they have these characters so they can die in the next movie to bring in, to have an emotional connection to Abe whenever Rasputin kills him.
yeah.
And then Abe and,
Can
what's her
take,
face?
Liz can come into the plot.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I thought was really convenient and stupid was they chop up the bad lady, right? They stick her in all these boxes and they separate them all over the place.
Yeah.
The pig man found them so easily.
Bebop.
Like Bebop was just
Yeah,
like,
Bebop.
oh, there's
Bebop.
one in there, there's one in there. Like, how did he know exactly where they all were? And he got to them. So they were so unguarded.
And it was so easily defeated by him swallowing the larynx of like.
Yeah, which was like...
you just have to eat the priest's larynx, and that's a holy blessing. Like, how's that work?
No, he
He talked like him.
I think he had it in the back of his mouth.
Yeah, he
pushed air through it.
Push
the
air
tongue,
through
right?
it. Yeah, which was kind of.
But then when Hellboy came up and he just broke the thing with his hand, it's like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so easy to find her pieces. Like, they really weren't that all hidden.
Well, we only saw him find two.
Yeah.
The head and the arm. The rest he's just feeling up her leg like it's the leg lamp from a Christmas story.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was very easy to bring her back. It was very anticlimactic to bring her back. It was like, well, it's going to be a big journey to like try and resurrect her. And it was just like, oh, here's her head, here's her arms.
Right.
She's watching TV. Yeah, she's back. You know,
She's upset with society.
she was a weak villain. She was a very goofy villain.
And I feel like the character arc of her was just, I need to get back together so I can find Hellboy and make him turn evil. Not like she did really anything.
And then, like-
Because I need a husband. That's
Yeah.
And
pretty
then
much it.
marry him, and then we
Yeah.
rule the world together. And he flies on a big dragon and is just killing everybody and
Do you think he would be able to kill more people? He has like a giant dragon, a big flame, and he was just like,
fire crowd.
yeah. Do you think he'd be able to like shoot a fireball or something?
It was just strange. It was a strange plot. I
Yes.
don't know. Justin, what are some of your spoilerish thoughts?
Again, like I said, I don't have the history here, but it seems weird to include Baba Yaga, and technically they were referencing Alice in Wonderland with the Alice character, and it's I don't know.
Baba
It was
Yaga
just-
was gross.
Yeah, and a lot of her tropes. I've read about her in a number of the book series that I read, and that's pretty typical of her. She eats children, and she's
The norm.
not a real nice person. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It was, the whole thing was just weird. Like it was okay.
Did you have a good time?
No.
I had an okay time, Lance.
All right, just checking.
How about you, Lance? Some of your things?
Going into it, like I said, I didn't have high expectations, so they were sort of met. It's one of those movies where I don't appreciate it for the mythos of the comic book. I just try to appreciate it for like, all right, that's sort of an okay action scene. All right, there was some snappy dialogue. All right, there was cheesy music, but you turn your brain off and don't get critical about it, and then you enjoy it.
The music, it was so hard I felt to enjoy because some of the music was so freaking loud. It was like...
I have the feeling that's because the music, the volume and everything was tuned for a full theater, and since we were all getting a private showing,
It was like really like disorienting in some
Yeah.
scenes and so much stuff going on. And
It was just the cutscenes were frustrating. Like, it was just a frustrating clunkiness of the whole movie.
to me, this is sort of like you're expecting like some good Kraft macaroni and cheese, and you get the Kraft macaroni and cheese with the C instead of the K. That was it.
Good value brand.
It's the value brand, yeah.
You mix some milk with that shit. That's good.
I know. I eat the great value version of it. How about you, Ken? Anything else you want to talk about this movie?
It was just decisions were made that were just bad on this movie that could have been better. Like, and I also too, like, I know that the Hellboy is supposed to be like, he's like lighthearted in jokes. it's almost too much of a thing anymore. Like, you have a lot of characters now that are all just like, hey, I'm witty banter while I'm fighting. Like
Deadpool and all these other people.
Deadpool, Shazam. Like, every superhero movie now is like witty banter. I'm gonna turn into a devil and witty banter. Like, it's like
Whatever, bitch. How about my hand?
Yeah.
And your thing.
I got a sword, you shove it up your butt. Meow. And then he's like, and like a large guitar rips and it's all loud and it's like, meow. And then it goes into like some dragonfly.
I thought his dad was pretty stupid too. Like,
it's all. That's the thing. It's so many tropes. The same things constantly. Like, oh, the dad didn't show him true love and blah blah blah. It's just like.
And until he's dead, then he realizes, Dad,
I love you, Dad.
I love you. I'm gonna be good.
Yeah, like it's
Like
just
we know he's gonna break the stupid horns off again. I thought they could have went in different directions in this movie than just trying to copy basically just the first one again with a different bad guy wanting him to grow the horns and have the sword and kill people.
It should have been smaller. It should have been a more confined story. Because then what do you do from here? Like, you've already had the fate of that's why
They already fought the apocalypse.
Yeah, what do you do now?
I agree. It should have been a smaller story where it's not about build up to the he's going to be the great evil one day and just fight a group of bad guys.
Have, instead of Baba Yaga being the puppet string person, because she's the one that gets the bebop to go find the parts to do whatever.
Make her the villain?
Make her. Well, you could have had the Blood Queen be the big bad. Because she realized, and then constantly throws these, like, it's a 3-movie arc like everyone does now.
Right.
You have her as the big evil to try to sway.
Instead, it's like they fought Thanos in one movie and beat him within an hour and 45 minutes.
You didn't even fight him, just
Suicide Squad with the Enchantress.
Yeah, like
it was the same formula.
They should have kept it smaller and gone away from the whole. There's going to be the scene where he breaks the horns off, and we've seen that already.
Shouldn't have
when
went
it's
anywhere
something
near
different.
it. Yeah, it was too big, too quick. I was gonna make a comment, but I knew you were going to spit on it.
Too big, too quick is what we'll leave it on. All right. Yeah. Anybody have anything else to say about this, or we'll just give it some scoring and move on with our lives?
Do we want to talk about the end scenes?
Go ahead, talk about them, Justin.
The first one, I actually thought the thing at the end where they showed or gave the reference to Abe. I actually thought that was like they decided to sneak one of the end credit scenes in early, so it felt weird at the end of the movie just throwing it on there.
A little Abe Sapien, that was good.
But and then the thing with Lobster Johnson was kind of throwaway. And then the very end with Baba, I came back and looked, and the character that she's talking to is, I can't pronounce this, Kozchi the Deathless. And he's gotten tired of immortality, but Baba holds something over him, and so he wants to die, so he basically does whatever she says, because she holds the key to whether he can die or not.
Didn't we think it was Rasputin?
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess was Rasputin, because he can't be killed.
Yeah, according to what I'm reading, and this actually came from like Hellboy lore, it's this Kozchi the Deathless guy.
Quan Chi, the Mortal Kombat character.
Okay. Quan Chi. All right. So we had that scene. Then you had. I think that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
Ghost Lobster Johnson.
Ghost Lobster Johnson. All right.
Which is where they go. The only place that they can go from here is a full BPRD movie with Abe, the Ghost Lobster Johnson, bringing y'all
Which
on.
I think would be good.
Which would be good, because that's your grand picture.
Lobster Johnson always a ghost?
He is now in the books. Most of the stuff coming out now that they're doing are years. So Hellboy in the BPRD 1954, then 55, and they do like 6 arcs.
So a big BPRD movie with all that that team.
Right. But they
Like the
have to
Avengers.
establish Hellboy as the reason why that universe existed. So, now they can get their BPRD, which could end up being a movie. It could end up being a television show for Netflix or something like that. Who knows? But they have to establish this first.
It could be what League of Extraordinary Gentlemen should have been.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, I like League of Extraordinary.
No, but I mean, they didn't continue it.
Right. They bottled it up.
Still, I liked it.
I
It was a drizzling shins.
No, it was better than this. It was good.
No, it wasn't.
At least it has Sean Connery.
It was.
It wasn't better than this.
I like it.
I'm gonna side with Don.
No.
He had the Nautilus. It was like a big sword. It was cool. Anyway, this isn't a review of League of 20 years ago. All right, let's rate this movie. I don't know. Rob.
2.5.
2.5. Lance.
2.5.
Justin.
2.5.
Ken.
2.
I'll go 2.5. It's about what it is. It's like we all feel the same about it. Ken's always a little bit lower because that's where he lies.
Because I have higher standards than you guys.
You do. You have much more.
I gave it the half for the logo being
Actually-
correct.
Okay. Well, there you go. Go check it out yourself and let us know what you think about it. And thanks for listening, Kenny.
Please like, share, subscribe, invite. Leave us your comments and reviews on iTunes. That always helps us out from what I hear. And I only hear that from other podcasts, so I assume it would help us out too. So please let us know. All right, everyone, thanks.